Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you into coverage of NCAA Division II women's basketball, streaming exclusively on Flow College. Today's matchup features the Owls of Southern Connecticut State University taking on the Dolphins of the College of Staten Island. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, joined on the call by Nicholas Pavona, and this is the McDonald's pregame show. McDonald's is our scoreboard sponsor here at the College of Staten Island, and they bring you our pregame coverage ahead of every CSI Dolphins home game. And Nick, the Dolphins come in having lost back-to-back games following a 2-1 start to their season. Now 2-3 on the year, they face a 3-2 Owls team in what will be the first meeting between these two teams in program history.
Yeah, and you look at this game coming into this one, Joe, for the Dolphins, as you mentioned. They've lost their last two, so trying to get back on the right thing after starting the season 2-1. And some of the things that have plagued the Dolphins in these last two games have been their free throw shooting as well as some really bad turnovers. Turnovers, especially in their last game against Bentley. That got them out of that game pretty quickly. They did fight back in the second half, but the turnovers really, really plagued them in that game. And it's a big reason why they lost in the fashion that they did. So they've got to try to avoid that here early in this game if they want to have a chance to get the victory and get back to 500. And their opponent today in the Owls is Southern Connecticut State University. You look at what they've done recently. They lost their last game to St. Michael's, who we saw earlier this season in the Conference Challenge. They beat the Dolphins earlier in the year as well. And they've had some pretty impressive wins, this Owls team. They've beaten teams like Georgian Court in a game where they scored 104 points, which we don't really see often in the collegiate level. They've also got big, impressive wins over Malloy and Mercy, those in double-digit figures as well. And, of course, the Dolphins will see those two teams later on in the season in conference play. A 1-point loss to American International College. And they even played an exhibition game earlier in the year to Division I UConn. So if you're a college basketball fan following women's basketball, you know how tough the UConn Huskies are. So this team has seen the top competition on the Division I level. They've seen some good competition on the Division II level, and they're 3-2 so far in the season. Both teams trying to get a victory here today, trying to bounce back after their most recent loss.
No question, this Owls team has been tested. And as for the Dolphins, the last time we saw the CSI team in action on Tuesday against Bentley, it was a slow start that proved to be too much to overcome in a loss to the Falcons. You mentioned some of the reasons why: free throw shooting, turnovers. However, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention another reason for that slow start, and that was the changes to the starting lineup that head coach Nicole Sarcone implemented in that game. And without a doubt, that played a role in the outcome as well. The Dolphins will return to most of their regular starting lineup in this game. However, they will be without Racky Kane here this afternoon. That's obviously a big loss, but assuming the Dolphins return to 4 of their 5 regular starters here this afternoon, how can that unit +1 get this team off to a better start and snap a 2-game losing skid?
Well, we saw in the first game of the year, Joe, the potential of this team, that game against Franklin Pierce, and how that fast-paced tempo offense they were running was really revolutionary for how their offense was going so far in the season. But since that first game, they haven't really shown the same sights that we saw in that matchup with the Ravens. So they need to get back to that fast-paced tempo, finding ways to get quick rebounds, looking up the court to find that outlet pass, and finding a quick 2 underneath inside of the paint. We've seen the flashes from some of their big players, the newcomers, and Edmonds and Barnes. You mentioned Kane as well, who's not playing today, but she's shown some great flashes as well this season. But they also need the returners from their lineups last year to really show up. We saw Dana Phelan get a little bit of minutes last game. They need her to make some big-time shots on the outside perimeter because that's been a big problem for CSI this season. And, of course, Kyra Rose, who did not play in the last game against Bentley, they really need her because she could be one of those players that can help set that tempo of that fast-paced offense where she can get a rebound, she can assist, and she even score. So she can do it all 3 positions. The Dolphins really need her in the lineup today. They will have her in the lineup here today. So those are some of the things the Dolphins need to do in order to get back on track and get back to what we saw earlier in the season.
And on the other side of this matchup is a Southern Connecticut team that is facing an ECC opponent for the 3rd time this season. You mentioned matchups against Mercy and Malloy already. They are 2-0 in those games with an average margin of victory exceeding 20 points. And most recently, they faced a St. Michael's team that knocked off the Dolphins here at the Tank, as you mentioned earlier in the pregame. And they also suffered a defeat against the Purple Knights by a final score of 86-68. What has worked in the three Owls victories, and how did St. Michael's manage to hand them their second loss in 3 games?
Well, what's been working for them, Joe, is that they've had some really good three-point shooting numbers this season, but they have been living and dying by the three-point shot. We've talked about that so many times in different broadcasts, but that has been their bread and butter. The 3 wins, they've been shooting really good from the three-point line. Their 2 losses, they have not been shooting well from the three-point line. And you look back at that St. Michael's game, the Purple Knights in that game shot 50% from the line, from the three-point line, they shot 52.9%. And the problem for the Owls in that game, they were out-rebounded by 9, 34-25. They had allowed 21 turnovers as well, and they shot 29.4% from the three-point line. So in their games that they can shoot, they are one of the deadliest teams in the country. But in games where they are not able to shoot from that three-point line, it's been tough sledding for them. So if they're the Dolphins, we've seen that zone defense from them this season, Joe. They've got to find a way to try to make sure they don't allow any open three-pointers today.
All right, Nick, when you and I come back, we will take a look back at opening night between the Dolphins and Franklin Pierce University as we break down what the Dolphins can do to get back in the win column here this afternoon. More to come from the McDonald's pregame show on the other side of the national anthem when we come back here on CSI Sportsnet.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Joe Foreman and Nicholas Bavona back with you here on CSI Sportsnet as we're just about set to begin today's non-conference matchup between the College of Staten Island Dolphins and the Southern Connecticut State University Owls. And Nick, before the break, we promised to look back to opening night here at the Tank. That was way back earlier in the month now, about 2 weeks ago. The Dolphins took on Franklin Pierce in that game, but there were a lot of things that the Dolphins did in that game that they can try and translate into today's game to come away with a win, and it started with the very first possession of the game.
Yeah, you'll see right here, Joe, good passing around for the Dolphins to keep going around, and you find Barnes, great underneath pass to Edmonds for the first score.
And that's the kind of ball movement you're looking for if you're this Dolphins team. And you mentioned it, Nick. Push the pace, Kane with the rebound. Of course, she's out today but she finds a streaking Barnes for the easy 2.
And the Dolphins on this next possession turning defense into offense. Great steal right there. You see Kyra Rose bringing it up the court after getting that outlet pass, finding Edmonds underneath for the finish.
You have to like what you've seen from Rose as a passer so far this year. And there's a defensive play as Rose comes away with the steal. Bounce pass inside, count that basket, and the foul.
Speaking of counting baskets, Dana Phelan from way downtown knocks down that three-pointer.
Dolphins certainly are going to need more of that, Nick. We've mentioned how much they've struggled from downtown. Racky Kane delivers a 3 there. You won't have her today.
Yeah, definitely a big loss for the Dolphins, but we talked about setting the tone with that pace of play. The Dolphins get the rebound, quick pass up the court to Kane. Kane with the pull-up jumper after a couple of dribbles and makes the 2.
And we've mentioned this team's prowess not only from mid-range, but around the basket as well. And here you see Kyra Rose finish through the contact and one on that basket.
And you'll see right here, nice give and go. We see finding Edmonds, perfect give and go right there for another 2.
And we see very well may be involved in a similar way today. She is in the starting lineup for this Dolphins team. And Nick, as the starters are being introduced out on the floor, why don't we meet the starters for both teams?
We'll start with the Owls of Southern Connecticut State University. Number 1, Hope Fox. Number 2, Raina Steinauer. Number 4, Jillian Martin. Number 12, Taya Steinauer. And number 22, Jada Williams. For the Dolphins, number 1, Stitchy Barnes. Number 3, Shunye Edmonds. Number 4, Kyra Rose. Number 10, Dana Phelan. And rounding out the Dolphin lineup, number 22, Dorothy Weesey.
And speaking of the Owls very quickly, Nick, before tip-off, we've spoken a lot this season about the pair of newcomers to this CSI roster that have averaged double figures in Racky Kane and Shanye Edmonds, but a pair of Owls upperclassmen have returned and played really well this year, also averaging in double figures. 2 of 4 Owls averaging more than 10 points a game.
Yeah, and you look at Steinauer's, both the Steinauers, you should say. Raina, you look at first off with Raina Steinauer, 18 points per game, 6.2 rebounds per game. She's shooting 47.9% from the field, 36% from 3. Had a 30-11 game earlier in the year against Georgia Court. That was the game, as I mentioned, Joe, was where they scored 104 points, and that went over the Lions. But Taya Steinauer as well as Hope Fox also in double figures this season.
And the Dolphins will win the tip. Edmonds jumping for CSI in this game. And the Dolphins control to get things started from the tank. Edmonds now with it, left open, in and out.
We saw a lot of those shots from Edmonds last game.
And the Dolphins force a quick turnover, but give it right back. Very nearly a backcourt violation there.
Yeah.
That was awfully close, but that would have been a tough call.
Yeah.
Immediately off the change of possession. Williams up top for Martin. She crosses over to her right, throws one up, and no good off glass.
And I mentioned to Joe, they have to get, set that tone with the zone defense, but another turnover right there for the Dolphins.
Well, the Dolphins trying to push the pace right there. They forced that pass. And you can see it, Nick. They're trying to implement some of the things we talked about just a few moments ago. As that turnaround jumper's off the back rim by Steinauer, rebounded by Rose.
And we mentioned Rose did not play in the last game, but a big part of this Dolphins offense. She can rebound, she can assist, she can score, can do it pretty much all for this Dolphins team.
We see up top for Phelan. Dolphins now with 10 on the shot clock. Barnes spins and knocks down the mid-range jumper.
That's not an easy basket right there, Joe, by Barnes. Having to dribble that one and get the pull-up jumper for the Dolphins' first points.
Stitchy Barnes gets the Dolphins on the board. Just over 90 seconds into this first quarter. Steinauer, no good, and rebounded by Edmonds.
Early on, the Dolphins' zone defense looking pretty good. I mentioned, Joe, this is a very good three-point shooting team in the Owls, so can't give them open shots. But it's going to be, it looks like an offensive foul on Barnes.
And that indeed is the case.
And we talked about also with no Kane in the lineup, the Dolphins going a little bit smaller with their lineup here today. So that's definitely a big loss in terms of the rebounding department. We talked about what the Owls have done this season in the rebounding department. So a big task for this CSI team here today.
And that one got away from Steinauer, stolen again by the Dolphins. Here comes Rose to the basket, and she draws the foul. And Nick, you mentioned rebounding. The Dolphins about a -3.5 on the glass this year. Without Racky Kane, they also have to make up for 12.2 points per game.
Yeah, they've got to find someone that's going to be, filling in for those points, and we'll see if Rose can knock down the free throws.
First free throw by Rose, no good off back iron. And we've said it more than once, Nick, for a player that gets to the line as much as Kyra, Dolphins are going to need her to knock down her free throws. Comes in shooting at 55%. And she goes 0 for 2 from the line, but Weesey got a hand in there, couldn't secure it.
Edmonds almost forcing a turnover, but it will remain with the Owls.
They harassed Williams nearly into throwing it away. But I think if you're this Dolphins coaching staff, you have to like the energy they've come out with early in this game, because it did not appear that same fire was there at the start of the last game earlier in the week.
And I mentioned it in the last broadcast, you go into the holiday, you can wipe away that game. You spend time with your family and friends over that holiday, try to get back those positive vibes from earlier in the season.
Williams, tough shot off glass and in.
That was not an easy one by Williams right there. Had to contest with the shot, but was able to get so.
And Edmonds lost it as she tried to go to work against Williams, but 6'1" grad student puts the Owls on the board just shy of 2.5 minutes into this opening quarter. Martin will bring it up, defended by Barnes. Steinauer feeds Williams inside, and she draws the foul.
And you got to think that with Kane out of the lineup, Joe, they're going to go to Williams a lot today. As you mentioned, that 6'1" frame. Going to be tough for the Dolphins inside of the paint to try to stop her. And she'll go to the free throw line now to shoot 2.
First free throw off the back rim, no good. Second attempt is good, and Southern Connecticut has their first lead.
And there you go with the press defense on the full court. This Dolphins now trying to bring it up.
Barnes with it. Swings it to the left wing. Now Rose.
Yeah,
traveled, yeah. Thought twice about the pass.
And early on, it's been some... Oh, they gave a foul on that one, Joe. Correction. So it wasn't turnover. The offensive foul on Weesey. So
off the ball.
Yeah. I thought the same thing that you thought initially.
Yeah.
But it looks like they gave Weesey a foul. So early on, 3 fouls now for this Dolphins team.
There's another foul called this time. The other way, at least I thought so, the ball.
Ball went out of bounds.
Went out of bounds. A lot of the time, it takes some help.
Yeah.
Steinauer to the left wing. This is Martin. Martin uses the Williams screen. Mismatch for Williams. Defended well by Edmonds, and Rose has the rebound.
I like what Edmonds did there, Joe. She was initially switching to help on the screen, but they got right back to play Williams on that play.
That floater a bit short, rebounded by the Owls. And Nick, both teams have struggled from the field early.
Yeah.
Corner 3 is short. Offensive rebound pulled in by Steinauer, and the putback is good.
Yeah, that's Steinauer right there, one of the leading rebounders of this Owls team, getting another second chance opportunity. We saw her against Bentley, Joe. That hurt the Dolphins too in that game. They gave up a lot of offensive rebounds and allowed a lot of second chance points.
Yeah, that was a big factor in that game, as that attempt is too strong. Jump ball is the call. Possession arrow favors the Owls.
Tana Steinauer on the year, 13.2 points per game, 5 rebounds per game. But the biggest stat I saw in that, and for her, Joe, she's averaging 3.4 steals per game. So certainly someone capable of forcing turnovers as this game goes on.
Well, against the Dolphins team that has come in now with turnover issues stemming from the last game, as that three-pointer is a bit long, rebounded by Rose. A player like that can make a big difference, and There's a steal from behind.
Right.
And
Right
the
back.
Owls throw it right back. Now, I was going to ask you made the point, as Phelan will try the deep three, and that's an air ball, but you made the point that coming off the holiday, you can sort of put the game from earlier in the week in the rearview mirror, but is there always that potential for the holiday weekend letdown? You indulge a bit on Thanksgiving, maybe you depart from your in-season diet a bit. I know I would if I was a player. Much easier when you're younger, but is there that potential for a letdown in this game instead of a bounce back?
Well, I think the problem is you can't really have the letdown because, as we know, after this game, the Dolphins are going to head into conference play. So they really need to find a way to get the win here today. That way they can go into their next game and try to set up their conference play with a nice season.
Well, the misses continue to pile up here as Edmonds finally ends what was an over 3-minute scoreless stretch for the Dolphins.
And how many times do we see against Bentley that Edmonds with that pull-up jumper on the outside? She's been really deadly at that long range too.
And we highlighted that as we got to look back at the opening night game. There's another offensive foul call. That one will go against Martin. But this Dolphins team, very adept from the mid-range. So despite their struggles from three, they've been able to put the ball in the basket from the mid-range. Meanwhile, we have reached our first media timeout. Our score with 4:47 to go in the first quarter. Southern Connecticut 5, Staten Island 4. And we are back here on CSI Sportsnet. Just under 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter of a one-point game. 5-4. Southern Connecticut over Staten Island as Edmonds is off from mid-range there. Substitutions for CSI. Just one on their side. Jasani Francis Torres checks in. On the other side, Ayanna Cotton checks in for the Owls. And Steinauer was rejected there by Rose, followed by a travel.
Well, I will say this, Joe. It's been a rough offensive game so far for both teams, but you got to like what you've seen from the Dolphins' defense so far. As I mentioned, they've been playing a lot of zone defense this season. They're really doing a good job early on. They're switching, they're rotating, and that's what you need to have a really good zone defense, and they're doing it so far in this game.
Barnes up top. Now Edmonds into the corner for Rose. Phelan thought about the three. Now looks to drive baseline. Turnaround jumper, no good. Long outlet up the floor, tipped and stolen by Edmonds.
A lot of careless passes from both sides, too. Another bad turnover right there by the Owls.
It's been a sloppy quarter for sure. And I think some of that has to do with a bit of a letdown following the Thanksgiving holiday. Not easy to come back out, take the court 2 days later. Rose nearly had it poked away. Francis Torres to the rim, can't finish.
Good move by Torres, but just a little bit too much on the layup.
And there were a lot of Owls supporters in the stands who thought that would be called a travel, as the finger roll won't go. Steinauer's miss, rebounded by Francis Torres, and now Phelan on the wing. Outside to Barnes. Edmonds, deep 2, is short. And it will be Owls basketball.
The way this game has started, you get the sense that it might be the first team to 40 points gets the win in this game.
It's been a slow start offensively for both teams, no question about it. To this point, they're shooting a combined 4 of 21 from the field, 0 of 5 from downtown, and 1 of 3, make that 1 of 4 from the line.
And how many turnovers between the two sides as well?
12. And I think that was a big issue for the Dolphins in the last game as Cotton knocks down the 3. I think they announced that.
They announced Martin. It was Cotton.
It was Cotton. I think the stats desk just realized it too.
Yeah.
Edmonds hands off to Phelan. 10 to shoot now. Barnes for Rose. Rose, bounce pass inside, nearly stolen. 3 to shoot. Pass tipped, and Edmonds won't get a shot off.
Yeah, the Dolphins had Phelan open in the other corner, but they couldn't find her. Torres was just trying to find any type of pass, and she was able to look behind her. She had Phelan wide open for a shot. Now a Vail and another turnover for CSI with that shot clock violation.
Juliana Ditto into the game for CSI. On the other side, Marissa Lee checks in for the Owls. There's a nice feed inside. It's broken up. Tish Blackwood in as well for SCSU.
Rose has been very impressive so far in this game defensively.
Fox left open, knocks down a 3.
And Joe, that's the one person you don't want to leave open. Hope Fox against Malloy had a really remarkable game. 25 points, 9 of 13 from the field. The most impressive mark, she was 6 of 7 from the three-point line. Cannot leave her open.
No question about it. As Barnes with a tough floater does not get the bounce, but Francis Torres fighting, secured the rebound and turned it over. There's a nice move in transition, but Cotton could not finish.
Another foul.
Rose was fouled that time. That's what I thought I saw before, not quite. That time Rose helped out of bounds along the baseline.
That was a good job by Ditto. She forced that shot to miss with trying to draw the charge and forces that foul after the shot was missed.
Just over a minute to go in the opening quarter. The Dolphins have been held to just 4 points in the period.
Remember, they got off to a slow start in their last game against Bentley, too.
Yeah, I think you see this enough times, it becomes a trend. And that's concerning, of course. And it's a point we made last year many times. The Dolphins need to find a way to get off to better starts. Good hands there by Steinauer to strip it away. Rose throws it toward half court. Edmonds gets it to Singer. She has 3 to shoot. Ditto from way downtown. Knocks it down.
Shot that from another area code.
Wow.
What a shot.
How about that from way downtown? A GD3. There's a nice move there, but Lee couldn't finish.
Dolphins get home for the final shot.
Edmonds left open, knocks it down.
But why do that when you can make that shot right there?
Exactly.
Edmonds once again, another pull-up jumper.
Dolphins said, quiet down, Coach Pavona. 3 seconds left in the quarter. Deep 3 by Cotton is well short. And that will do it for the first period. From the tank, our score through 10 minutes. Southern Connecticut 11, Staten Island 9. And that's a big reason why. Juliana Ditto from way downtown as the shot clock expires. Pulls the Dolphins a bit closer. They end the quarter on a 5-0 run, trailing by just 2. Second quarter about to get underway from the College of Staten Island. The Dolphins, ending the first period on a 5-0 run, have pulled to within 2. But overall, Nick, it was a slow offensive quarter for both of these teams.
Nice move by Rose right there, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Well, we've said it time and time again, Nick. Kyra has had no problem getting inside, no problem finishing tough shots through contact, and no problem getting to the free throw line, but needs to find a way to knock down her free throws. And the first is short.
Yeah, we mentioned that game against St. Michael's earlier on, Joe. The Dolphins were down double digits in that game, but had they were able to make their free throws, they could have had a chance to win the game.
Rose goes 1 for 2 from the stripe. It's now a 1-point game. The Dolphins have scored the last 6. Southern Connecticut has been without a basket for over 2 minutes.
Their last basket coming on that Fox three-pointer.
Martin was tied up, finds Steinauer, and she buries the mid-range jumper.
Yeah, and you saw the Dolphins trying to switch back to get her, but it was Steinauer with another pull-up jumper, long 2 to put them back up 3.
Edmonds for Rose. Rose being given some room. Francis Torres now hands off to Ditto. Ditto on the drive. Lefty attempt is good. Count it. And the foul.
How about Ditto so far in this game? Had that three-pointer earlier to end the first quarter, and now has a chance for another 3 right here.
Great use of the body by Ditto to shield the defender away from that ball, and was able to hang in the air, put it up with the left, and hit. One more coming from the line. That free throw is no good. The Dolphins now 1 of 5 from the line.
It continues to be a problem for CSI right now, the free throw shooting.
Fox inside for Williams, and not much Ditto can do there.
Yeah, I imagine that might be the game play for the Owls today. Try to get the ball to Williams inside of the paint. When you have that mismatch, we saw Ditto trying to switch on her, but once again, a really tall task right there for Ditto to try to stop her.
5'7", defending 6'1". Ditto on the pull-up. Rattles out. And it was tipped out of bounds. It will stay Dolphins ball.
You gotta like that Ditto's getting a little bit more aggressive in this game today. You know, we mentioned that Dolphins are looking for some other outside scoring with Kane now not in the lineup, but Ditto has done a good job so far. Almost knocked down another shot right there.
Well, we have a name for the kind of pass that she received ahead of that deep three-pointer. I'll elaborate after this possession. You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Edmonds in the corner. Deep 2 is good. Shanye Edmonds knocks down another.
And you have to feel good whenever Edmonds takes that outside shot. Another long-range 2 just outside of that three-point line.
Well, Edmonds has had a nice game so far when she's looked to shoot it. Now 3 of 6. That attempt won't go by Fox. Ditto up the floor for Edmonds. And Edmonds threw it away. That's a bad pass, stolen by Cotton. Cotton contested and blocked.
Nice job by Torres to get back on that one. Now the Dolphins potentially can have numbers right here.
Now, did she get a piece or did she alter it as Edmonds knocks down another jumper?
2-point shot by number 3, Shanye Edmonds.
We might have a good look to see if she did block it or not.
You know, Nick, when she went up, I didn't think it was blocked, but the way that it came up so short, I thought certainly it had to have been tipped.
Let's say.
The tight camera angle will give us a good look at it. I think it was blocked.
Yeah, I think so. Just rough timing with the ref running the same time.
So we have a very piecemeal operation here in terms of how we're connecting our cameras, waiting on another equipment delivery. One of our cameras courtside is a bit lower than the other. Effectively, we'll call that ref cam.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the point I was about to make before, Nick, when Ditto received that pass late in the shot clock with no choice but to shoot it, we call that kind of pass the old grenade.
Certainly dropped the bomb by making that 3.
Sure did. An explosive shot, one might say.
How many more punts can we take with that?
Well, that I can say on the broadcast, I'm not sure. Rose to the basket, can't finish, but she secures her own rebound momentarily, and
she drew a foul too.
She drew a block on Fox, who was trying to snatch that ball away.
I thought initially they were going to say that the ball hit off of her foot, but instead they got the foul. That's now 3 on the Owls early, which is early 3 minutes into this quarter.
Dana Phelan will check back in here. Gemma Singer to the bench. Dolphins trail by 1. Rose.
Blocking foul, or charging foul on the screen.
Another illegal screen.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's something we saw from the Dolphins a bit last year. And I think you need to find a way to strike that balance between aggressive screens and perhaps a bit too aggressive. But the screen game's certainly a part of this team's identity. We've seen it time and time again. And I think it really helps open up a lot of those mid-range jumpers as well. It also gets players like Kyra Rose moving downhill, as that's far too easy for Fox.
And an immediate travel, that just cannot happen right off the inbound with nobody there.
Well, it happened with no pressure being applied. I think that's the concern.
Checking in for Southern Connecticut, number 22, Jada Williams.
Barnes and Williams back in for CSI and SCSU respectively. Fox back up top for Cotton. Now Martin. Right back to Fox. And another illegal screen.
Yeah. It's the most illegal screens I've seen in the start of the game.
There have been quite a few. And for Martin, I believe that's her third, and she heads right back to the bench.
And now 4 fouls on the Owls. So 1 more foul, Joe, given up by the Owls, and the Dolphins will be in the bonus.
JC Marisada checks in. Her first appearance of the game, replacing Martin after she picked up her third. Meanwhile, Francis Torres and Weesey each have 2 fouls, as Edmonds is now 5 for 7 from the field.
Yeah, she cannot miss right now from the outside. She's been red hot, and we saw that as well against Bentley. She made a lot of big outside shots, and she's doing it once again.
Make it 5 for 8. Still efficient nonetheless. She's now in double figures. First player to 10 points and the only player in this game with more than 5. Entry pass inside results in a foul call. As Blackwood drew the contact, she'll head to the line for 2.
Yeah, and that's what's been most impressive about Edmonds, is that it's been really consistent with how she's been shooting these last couple of games. You know, didn't get the start in the last game against Bentley, but as soon as she came on the court, that's when the Dolphins started to come back in that game and make things interesting.
We spoke about during the pregame the scoring for the pair of newcomers to this Dolphins team, averaging in double figures, being Edmonds and Kane. But what we didn't talk about is how efficient they have been. Kane shooting over 52% from the field, and Edmonds is shooting over 54%. 1 of 2 trip to the line for Blackwood.
And you like to see that with your newcomers being very efficient right off the get-go.
Dolphins still trying to edge their way in front. They trail by a pair. Under 6 minutes to play in the first half. Rose, off the jab step, goes to work and can't finish over Williams.
Tough really to get over that 6'1" frame right there. Rose almost knocked that one down.
And that shot may have been blocked as well.
Did she get on the line? They're going to say timeout, Owls.
So Southern Connecticut gets a timeout in, as they were in a lot of trouble along the baseline, and that will send us to a quick break. With 5:23 to go in the first half, our score, the Owls 20 and the Dolphins 18. 5:23 to go in the first half. The Dolphins trailing by a pair against Southern Connecticut State University. Owls basketball, as that was kicked. Dolphins, without Racky Kane today, have gotten 10 points from Shanye Edmonds, 5 off the bench from Juliana Ditto. Trail by just a pair, minus their leading scorer. 20 on the shot clock now. This is Cotton up top. Crosses over and steps back and buries the shot over Phelan.
Cotton's been pretty impressive too in this game since coming off the bench. Another long-range shot, this time a long-range 2.
She now has 5 on 2 of 5 from the field. Barnes surveys the floor as the shot clock winds down to 10. And Edmonds with
Now, Joe.
a dangerous pass. I was ready to brace the table as the Owls get running in transition, and Fox finishes the finger roll.
Yeah, quick turnover leading to quick points right there, and it's Fox once again getting that lay-in.
Rose thought about the jumper. Set a screen for Phelan.
And the Dolphins now will be in the bonus. That's 5 fouls.
Well, if you're CSI, you've been knocking at the door, trying to get even, maybe even take the lead several times. Here in this first half, they have not been able to get over the hump yet. 4 minutes and 23 seconds in the bonus, that certainly can help. And Phelan knocks down the free throw. Phelan's been reliable from the line in a small sample size this year. Now 7 of 9. Make it 8 of 10.
A rare 2-for-2 trip for the Dolphins.
Just over 4 minutes to go, first half. Dolphins trail 24-20. Fox attacks and draws the foul. That's now 4 on CSI.
Dolphins don't want to give the Owls any opportunities now at the free throw line after they just got into the bonus.
For Southern Connecticut, number 1, Fox.
Fox knocks down the first. The Owls now 5 of 7 from the stripe. Fox goes 2 for 2. Ditto able to secure it. There's a hard screen by Edmonds, and she can't finish on the roll. I'm surprised they didn't get her for a foul there, Nick.
Yeah, they've been calling that a lot in this first half.
Down goes Barnes, offensive foul.
Nice job by Barnes right there, drawing that charge. Another foul in this first half, or the second quarter, I should say. Now 6 fouls for the Owls.
You can call it the first half. That's okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of halves, men's basketball should be, I'd say, just getting underway in the second half. Maybe got underway 20 minutes ago. I'd say closer to 20 minutes ago as Ditto knocks down another. That's a deep 2.
Ditto been really impressive, Joe, so far to start this game.
The good news for the Dolphins is that they're now shooting up over 40%. As
regardless, even if it's a shooting foul or not, the Dolphins have 5 fouls.
I think they called a foul before the shot.
Yeah. Regardless, though, 5 fouls for CSI, so it's bonus, so 2 shots regardless.
Dolphins are now up over 40% shooting. However, Nick, they've turned it over 13 times.
Yeah, it's been a big problem right there. It's that first free throw knocked down, but going back to that replay, nice screen by Edmonds, getting Ditto that wide open shot.
Fox has been good from the line on her last 4 attempts. Now 4 for 4 from the stripe. She's in double figures now with 11 points.
She's shooting 85% from the free throw line this season, so that's one player you don't want to allow to have free throw opportunities.
Barnes for Rose. Kyra gets inside and could not finish. And she makes the save to Phelan. But Phelan nearly threw it away, and
Dolphins give it right back on the foul.
that is a tough call, Nick. They get Barnes for the offensive foul.
That was the old Bill Buckner, went right through the legs. Dolphins got the ball back, but
Yeah.
offensive foul gives the ball right back to the Owls.
Gemma Singer back into the game with under 3 minutes to play in the half. Owls have been able to stay in front for most of this first half. They fell behind 2-0 early, have led ever since. Cotton in traffic.
Jump ball.
Was tied up. Possession arrow favors the Owls, though they pointed the other way. It will stay with Southern Connecticut here. 16 on the shot clock. Fox gets it up top to Blackwood. Fox for three. Knocks it down.
Yeah, got a great screen right there, and nice shot by Fox. She's been red hot in this first half.
Ditto uses the Rose screen and is a bit strong on the pull-up.
Chance here now for the Owls to go up double figures in this game.
Cotton driving baseline. Count the basket and the foul.
Nice move by Cotton. She's also been pretty impressive in this first half as well. They now lead by 11.
Well, if you're the Dolphins, spending much of this half within a possession or two, you hate to go into halftime trailing by double figures, but with just over 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter, that's seeming like more of a possibility now. Fox and Cotton, two big reasons why, Nick.
Dolphins got to find a way to make it a single-digit contest before this half ends.
Barnes for Rose. And Rose is way off on the jumper, but that's a shot we've seen her knock down before, Nick.
A lot of the shots, though, for the Dolphins, if you've seen this first half, Joe, they put a lot of emphasis into it, and that's been a big reason why they've missed some of the shots. They've gotten some good looks, but just a little bit aggressive on the shots that they've taken.
Singer. Hands off to Ditto. Edmonds facing up. Knocks down another.
Number 13.
She makes it look effortless, Nick.
Yeah. It's just been a really impressive showing from Edmonds. Once again, another long-range two.
Just over a minute to go in the half. Dolphins back to within 10. We'd love a couple of stops here, and instead they give up a wide-open three. Steinauer left all alone, buries it, and it's now a 13-point game again. Timeout, Dolphins.
Yeah, that just can't happen. Steinauer, another capable three-point shooter. And just after getting the momentum and making it a 10-point game again, it's back to 13 with 54 seconds to go in the half.
And we will stay right here, Nick, as that timeout is going to be a 30-second timeout. But if you're the Dolphins in this first half, at one point you had the Owls down in the lower 30s in terms of shooting percentage, and you were up over 40%. Those roles have now reversed. The Owls up over 41%, the Dolphins at about 38.5%. But if you're Southern Connecticut, 9 of 11 from the free throw line, the Dolphins 3 of 7. Combine that with 14 CSI turnovers and the inferior shooting percentage to this point, and there you get a 13-point deficit.
And the other problem for CSI, as we talked about it earlier, with Dolphins really not been great this year from the three-point line. It's going to be really tough to come back against a team that has been really good this season at times when they're shooting the three.
I think when you're looking at what the Dolphins have done so far in this first half, a lot of it just comes down to cleaning up the turnovers and hitting your free throws. They've shot well enough to be much closer in this game. Ditto. Short. And the rebound goes to Steinauer.
A 3-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock.
Owls can hold for the last shot here.
maybe 2 seconds now that I'm looking at it.
Tend to shoot now. Steinauer left open. Off the front rim, tipped by Barnes. 6 seconds remaining. Barnes for Rose, threw it away. 1 second on the clock, and that heave will not go. We've reached halftime from the tank. Our score, Southern Connecticut 37, Staten Island 24. Our TLC Physical Therapy halftime report with women's basketball head coach Nicole Sarcone coming up next. And we are back for the TLC Physical Therapy halftime report with women's basketball head coach Nicole Sarcone. And coach, without Racky today, how do you feel about how players like Shania and Juliana picked up things offensively?
I think they're stepping up tremendously in their roles. Ditto's playing great today, looking to be aggressive off screens and getting downhill, and Shani's doing what Shani can do. Kai's stepping up big today on the boards. I think it's just a difference in one of our goals was less than 15 turnovers, and we have 15 already, and they scored 13 points off of it, and they're knocking down open shots, and we're not.
My second question was going to be about the turnovers. The team has really looked to push the pace off of misses. That's where some of those turnovers have come. How do you balance pushing the pace and protecting the ball?
Pushing the pace is something we want to do, but I had said it to Stitchy, our point guard, is we're not making great decisions right now in the open floor, so we're going to slow it down a little bit because I really don't think we're being pressured to make the turnovers. We're kind of throwing the turnovers on our own.
All right, thank you, Coach. Best of luck in the second half. All right, women's basketball head coach Nicole Sarcone, kind enough to join us for our TLC Physical Therapy halftime report. When we come back, the second half from the tank, the Dolphins trail against the Owls, 37-24.
We've learned a lot from him, and we've probably learned more from him than he's learned from us.
I think they're a real important part in my life. I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact is a national nonprofit that connects kids living with serious and chronic illness with college athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes.
Give me a break it! Break it!
Can I have a hug?
What's your favorite subject?
No.
spread the word about Team Impact, you have the power to change lives.
Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country.
What's up, big man? You good?
It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
We are
Penn State.
From signing day to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
Campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends, live sports and watch parties, to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Third quarter about to get underway from the tank with Southern Connecticut leading CSI 37-24. Dolphins were right there for much of the first half, Nick, and then a late run by the Owls before halftime really gave them a lot of breathing room in this game.
An early foul to start this second half, and one of the big reasons why, Joe, was great performances from Cotton, but Hope Fox had a really remarkable first half shooting the ball, and she's been a big problem for the Dolphins in this game.
No question about it. Fox just 4 of 5 from the field, but 2 of 2 from downtown and 4 of 4 from the line. That goes along with 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a couple of steals, and off the offensive board, Rose has an easy 2.
Nice second chance points right there for the Dolphins, and they really needed that to start the second half.
It might not be this game, Nick. It might not even be the next game, but I just get the sense that the Dolphins can't continue hitting threes at the rate they have and manage to be competitive every game. They have just 1 3 in the first half, and they trail by 13 again here. That last 3 by Phelan was then rebounded by Rose, who put it up and in. But it's going to be really, really tough to compete when you're hitting as few threes as they have.
Yeah, it's been really remarkable how, we saw last year, it was an up and down year for them three-point shooting wise, but they were still able to make it a very far away in the ECC. But I agree with you. I think at some point those shots are going to start falling down, but it just hasn't started to fall down so far in the first couple of games. And speaking of falling down, another big 3 right there for the Owls.
Well, I think that's exactly why you need some of those shots to start going down, because that's pretty good defense there. And Steinauer knocks it down, using her size to her advantage there as well, as Rose gets moving downhill and draws the blocking foul. But through 5 games coming in, the Dolphins have made just 10 threes this year. 6 of those belong to Dana Phelan, and Phelan came in just 6 of 33.
And coming in against a team that, as I mentioned earlier, has been living and dying by the 3 this season. When they are hot, they will make those shots and get them an opportunity to win, but when they miss, it really costs them games, and so far it has not hurt them in this game. They have knocked out a big couple of shots.
Barnes on the pull-up, and that's good.
Number 1, Stitchy.
The Dolphins from the mid-range have been very good.
Yeah.
But when you're being outshot from downtown, 5 made threes to 1, and then outshot from the line, 9 made free throws to just 3. That's a lot you have to overcome.
How about that rebound right there by Steinauer? Right over the back. Was able to snag it.
She stands 5'11", and that is taller than any Dolphin out there on the floor.
And to look back at this game, I know it's a little bit early in the third quarter, but the way this game started, that was really the opportunity for the Dolphins in this one. The Owls weren't shooting the ball well, as there's a nice lay-in right there. That was a tough one right there by Steinauer. And the Dolphins had a good chance early in this game to make some shots.
As Phelan is off from 3, but all of a sudden, Nick, the Owls seem unstoppable. They've hardly missed over the last several minutes. And just as I say that,
the turnover.
Rose forces the turnover. And Dolphins did force 8 first-half turnovers. You'll take that.
But as Nicole Sarcone talked about, they got to that number 15 of turnovers for themselves. That has been a big problem for them this season. It was a big problem in the first half, and that travel will award them another turnover right there. Or correction, they called it a foul. So
Coach Sarcone didn't like that call.
Thought initially they called a travel on Rose and said they gave her the charging foul.
Cotton feeds it inside. Steinauer goes to work and banks it in.
Steinauer now starting to heat up. We talked about her numbers this season, and she's been really good, strong here in the second half.
Well, the Dolphins just don't seem to have a match for the interior offense of Southern Connecticut, and if they try and come in and help, that's how you end up with open threes. And when the Owls have been left open, they've made the Dolphins pay.
Yeah, and that's something that we highlighted earlier. You can't allow them to hit those open shots. It happened against Bentley this past week, and now here to start the second half, it's been all Owls so far to start the half. This is at one point was a back-and-forth contest, and now it's starting to slip away for CSI.
Rose left open. Does not get the bounce off the front rim. And it will stay Dolphins ball. Good effort there by Frances Torres to earn her team another chance. Once again, Nick, the Dolphins have not shot too poorly in this game, just shy of 38%. They were up over 40 late in the first half as Edmonds will knock down that shot, and it is indeed a three.
I thought initially it was a long range too, but
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I thought so too.
Edmonds, though, has been the one consistent factor for the Dolphins offensively in this game.
Well, Edmonds with that last make now has 15 points, and once again, she's done it efficiently. 7 of 11.
That'll be her second, and the Dolphins' second of the third quarter.
Dolphins got 7 points from Juliana Ditto in that first half as well. They need somebody else to step up and start scoring. That was a 2, but
yeah. I
it's
knew
okay.
it wasn't going crazy.
Yeah, it was a 2. Toe was on the line. Cotton feed inside to Williams, and her fadeaway is good.
And you talked about it, Joe. It seems like now all the shots started to go in for the Owls. They couldn't buy a basket to start this game, and now everything's starting to go in as the Dolphins have to call a timeout.
They're over 46% from the field, and it came seemingly out of nowhere, Nick, because early on the Dolphins defense had forced them into turnovers and forced them into an inefficient shooting performance. That's not the case right now. Southern Connecticut leads Staten Island 48-31, 6:15 to go in the third quarter. Just over 6 minutes to go in the third quarter of a 17-point game. Dolphins went into the half down 13, and that lead has grown for Southern Connecticut. The Owls in front, 48-31. This is Ditto on the drive, and she is rejected by Steinauer. Rebound is tipped into the arms of Williams.
Yeah, initially couldn't tell if she was trying to get it underneath for Torres or go up with a shot, but it looks like that was indeed a shot.
Steinauer lost it, and Rose has the steal. Kick out to Barnes, left open. Short on the three. Frances Torres secures the rebound. Dolphins now 2 of 7 from downtown as Rose draws another foul.
Nice move to the basket right there by Rose. She'll go to the free throw line. The Dolphins need to try to make some free throws if they want to get back into this game.
Well, I think when you're not scoring from the outside as much, you can make up that from the line. The problem is the Dolphins have not hit their free throws. Rose knocks down that one.
And we always say, like, those are easy fixes, you know, when you can knock down free throws and fix that, you can fix your three-point shooting. Those are certainly capable, you know, mistakes that you can fix over time and period. But it just seems like the Dolphins haven't really been able to do that over the course of these last 2 seasons. They've got to try to find a way to fix that before conference play starts.
Rose goes 2 for 2 from the line there, and the Dolphins needed that as Williams lost her footing and she slipped, Nick.
Yeah, she definitely slipped.
She slipped. There was a wet spot on the floor. Williams went down, and the whistle was blown immediately.
Yeah, it's a rough one for Torres. Her third foul now of this game, and really one you can't blame her for with the slippage right there by Williams.
Yeah, that one not on Frances Torres for sure. But she is a tough matchup. Really, any Dolphin who's going to be matched up with Williams has a tough assignment. 12 to shoot now. Kick out to Cotton, wide open, knocks down the three.
And the Dolphins just losing Cotton on that play. She's been really good from the three-point line here.
Edmonds for ditto. Short. And Edmonds has it in the corner. Entry pass tipped, and a foul was called against Steinauer.
Dolphins now will be in the bonus. Let's look out camera. I can't really get to it. That one I couldn't really save, but didn't do much to the camera.
Well, that was a great opportunity to switch to our alternate view, Nick.
Babe, I don't think the ball would have been seen, right?
Replay it. Let's see.
Let's say the ball.
Why not? We're heading to a timeout. Let's see.
Kinda.
All right. We'll head to break as
let's see the ball.
Our on-court camera.
And right into your living room.
There you go. Wouldn't it be something if a basketball came rolling out of the base of the screen? 4:53 to go, third quarter. Owls over the Dolphins, 51-33. Under 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. And Jasani Frances Torres will head to the line for CSI. Dolphins once again in an early bonus, but Frances Torres can't capitalize. And she goes 1 for 2 from the stripe.
And we saw, looking at the stats, St. Michael's took advantage of the foul trouble the Owls had in their last game. They were 22 of 28 from the free throw line in that win over the Owls. So the Dolphins have had their chances but have not been able to capitalize.
And the Dolphins have forced another turnover. CSI has done some good things defensively in this game, but the Owls have just been lights out.
Kickball.
Since late in that second quarter, the Owls have pushed their shooting percentage up to 49%. Meanwhile, I apologize if you mentioned it, Nick, but Taya Steinauer just picked up her 4th foul.
I did not.
Well, that last one was number 4.
Show me in the game, though.
She's not in the game.
Thought I read the wrong number.
Reyna is in the game.
Yes.
Taya's on the bench. Rose, open pull-up, is short and rebounded by Williams. But I think that's a shot you want Kyra to take every once in a while because they're giving her a lot of space. They're respecting the drive, and she has to command respect from the mid-range as well to get those defenders to play her a bit closer as Steinauer knocks down the mid-range.
And it also allows Williams to move out to the outside perimeter and not have her down low to try to grab a rebound.
That's a good point as Barnes finishes the tough shot.
Not an easy one by Barnes right there, but a lot of her baskets this season have not been easy to get.
I think this team's greatest strength, without a doubt, Nick, is when they get their ball handlers moving downhill. Kane, Edmonds, Barnes, Rose, all of them are such good downhill players attacking the basket. Problem is when your opponent doesn't respect your outside shooting, they collapse, and they will wave off that basket.
Yeah, I thought initially it was going to be an and-1, but
no, offensive foul.
Yeah.
Blackwood whistled for the charge. That's a big call. The Dolphins have 3.5 minutes here to pull a bit closer, And they need to take full advantage. Potential three-point trip down the floor there really hurts at this juncture in the game. This is Rose over to Ditto.
Score the basket for number 0, Ayana Cotton.
And nope.
Yeah, that's a negative answer.
Yeah, it's a negative.
Barnes, deep 2 off the front rim, rebounded by Steinauer and stolen by the Dolphins.
I think everyone's still trying to recover from the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, you know. Ditto. Air ball. Well, the Dolphins still stuck on 2 made three-pointers.
Number 24, Marissa Lee.
We've seen Ditto getting a lot more shots in this game, but as you mentioned, the Dolphins just really have not been able to knock down any threes. It's been a very long time since they made their last 3.
Cotton on the wing. Now Steinauer with room. Knocks down another.
3 for number 2.
Steinauer is just heating up, Joe.
They're giving her a lot of room off the ball, and a late closeout isn't enough against her. As Rose draws another foul. She's done a great job getting to the line in this game.
Yeah.
Foul on number 11, Tish Blackman. That'll be her second. Last call for the snack stand.
Let's call for the snack stand, Joe.
At the line.
Apparently there's some Black Friday deals that are being
I
held
heard
at
$1 pretzels, $1 hot dogs, and one very disappointed play-by-play commentator who can't eat either one.
Nice, I like that.
Yeah, you know, it's been a staple of my game day now for a decade.
Yeah.
Always multiple pretzels, but
not anymore.
Can't quite stomach those anymore, unfortunately, as Rose misses the free throw.
Dolphins will get the ball right back, though.
Last call for the snack stand and the $1 pretzels and $1.
Now he's just rubbing it in, Joe.
They
Keep
are
mentioning it.
hammering it home. I'm going to have a talk with Anthony about this. Where is this request coming from to announce this multiple times? Rose fouled again. We'll head right back to the line.
You know what was funny the last game? I think he had the last call. I think there was 1 minute left in the game itself.
There was. As much as I'd love to have a snack stand open the entire day, probably not a good thing for me if I'm working a full day. To be fair, though, outside of game day, I'd say on average, I'm probably here, let's say, 3 hours a week outside of game day. Because the days where I am here, it's usually a full day.
I feel like the days you really needed were, the Tournament of Heroes and the Conference Challenge.
Well,
those long days.
But those are game days.
Right.
Not counting game days.
Right.
Second free throw from Rose on the way. Have to admit, I like my new desk. Rose 2 of 2 from the line.
Very unique desk.
Very unique. Also well hidden. You don't even know I'm there if you look in.
It has a nice artifact from Yankee Stadium.
It does. We have a signed foul ball by our staff as Cotton throws up an air ball.
Sam Whalen very gracious to give you that foul ball, which I can't believe I missed.
I secured us comp seats to the game on field level, and as a token of his appreciation, Sam Whalen gave me the foul ball. It hit off the second deck and landed right in front of us.
Yeah.
Sam won the mad scramble for the ball and gave it to me. Have to admit, the other grown men in the section were looking at him like, what's he doing?
Oh, no, Joe.
Watch out.
We're good.
I'm not getting that one.
No. Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. So he heard how upset I was, but not the part about how I can't eat them. It's tough, I walk by the concession stand every game, and I'm like, you know what? I could do a pretzel. I can't.
Today's the day.
No, I can't.
Maybe not.
I can't. My body will thank me later when I'm performing at a high level in the gym.
You've got to compete for Nick Durst's basketball team.
Well, I played my last game.
Oh, no. I did not know that.
Yeah. They're headed to the playoffs. I won't be here.
The playoffs already are starting?
They have one more regular season game, which both of us will miss, and then a playoff game.
How many games are in the regular season?
6 or 7.
Wow.
As that shot won't go. Last second heave by Lee. Did hit the rim. Dolphins still trail by 17, hoping for a quick spurt to end the quarter. Ditto to the wing for Rose. Inside, Edmonds. Count it! And the foul.
Man, we have talked about it a lot in this game, Joe, but how impressive has Edmonds been these last couple games?
She's been impressive all year, but in the absence of Racky Kane, they needed her to step up just a bit more, and step up she has. And that's part of her game we haven't seen as much of. Back to the basket inside. Very versatile player, as we've seen. And she's had a very nice afternoon. Now has 18 points, and Dolphins are within 14.
Play in the third quarter.
Final minute, third quarter. Southern Connecticut over Staten Island, 56-42. Lee looking, feeds Williams, doubled, and fouled.
Almost got the and one right back. And you saw it immediately. Once Williams got inside the paint, she wanted the ball, got it immediately, and goes up. Now goes to the free throw line.
And the Dolphins' fourth of the third quarter. At the line for Connecticut, number 22, Jada Williams.
Jada Williams back to the line.
Williams has had a nice game here today as well.
Now has 8 points. This is her second trip to the line. She's now 2 for 3, but when she's gotten the ball, she's been a handful for any Dolphin tasked with covering her one-on-one. And as we saw, CSI looked to double on that last possession. Williams 2 for 2 from the line, makes it a 16-point game. Barnes. For Edmonds, left open, short. Edmonds has not missed many of those in this game. And she's done a good job, as you mentioned, Nick. She's pulled Williams out of the paint. Something that you mentioned Kyra Rose could do as well if she looked to shoot a bit. Final 10 seconds of the quarter. Cotton to her left is rejected by Rose.
Nice defensive play by Rose right there. 5.1 to go on the shot, or the game clock, I should say. Well, let's see what the Owls can draw up right here.
And down coming from the baseline. Goes to Cotton. She lost control, has it back, and threw up a wild shot. That one didn't have a chance. And that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. Our score through 3. Southern Connecticut State University, 58. And the College of Staten Island, 42. Final quarter from the tank coming up next. Fourth quarter just getting underway from the College of Staten Island. The Owls lead the Dolphins 58-42. Dolphins hoping to snap a 2-game losing skid. This is Fox. Make that Martin on the outside. Now Fox with it. Steinauer feeds Williams. Turnaround jumper, no good. That almost seems like a layup for her with how quickly she gets into that shooting motion. Really no chance. to alter that shot.
It's not much hesitation as soon as she gets the ball inside the paint.
This is Rose left open. Too strong. Barnes got her hands on it, and you have to think, Nick, that the bench made a point to tell Cairo to shoot those.
Yeah, and again, it's like what you mentioned earlier with the three-point shooting. Eventually, those are going to start falling for Rose in the season.
There's a nice feed, but Fox couldn't put it in.
A rare miss by Fox in this game.
You mentioned earlier, Nick, she's played well, now 4 of 6 from the field. Raina Steinauer leads the way for Southern Connecticut with 16, Fox with 14. They're still shooting over 45% as Phelan's off the mark from the mid-range. The Dolphins are now sub 35% as the jump ball arrow will favor CSI.
Jump ball. Checking in for Southern Connecticut.
Cotton will check back in.
Ayana Cotton.
It's a nice game off the bench. She texts in for Taya Steinauer.
Dolphins as a team this year have held opponents to under 36% shooting. So they've been good defensively in terms of limiting the efficiency of their opponents. And Rose has done a great job in this game drawing fouls.
Yeah.
She's taken 10 free throws.
Yeah. It was 2 for 2 her last time.
Downside, she's 1 of 8 from the field. To her credit, she's tried to be that second scorer to step up for the Dolphins behind Edmonds. We mentioned Ditto had a nice first half, but she's now 3 of 9, and no other Dolphin has really been able to find it here in the second half. As the 3 for Barnes goes in and out, foul called underneath, and we'll stay right here.
And that's the thing, we've been seeing it a lot. They're getting the looks. The looks are there for the Dolphins. And at some point, those shots are going to fall throughout the season. It's been a mixture of the ball just not bouncing the right way for them right now to start these first couple games.
Phelan left open. Splash.
You spoke about it earlier. You knew eventually those were going to start falling for her. A big 3 for Phelan.
No doubt that's a big shot. And you'll probably need 1 or 2 more where that came from to get back in this game if you're the Dolphins.
They need some good defensive stance these next couple of possessions.
Steinauer thought about it. Kicks out. And Fox put up an air ball. Barnes thought about Edmonds up the floor. Instead finds Rose.
I think it's wise.
Get it inside to Edmonds.
Yeah.
And she couldn't corral it. Nick, I think the pass was just a bit late. The double had already arrived.
Yeah.
But the right idea. Just a bit of a late execution there.
That's something that they need to also try to figure out, have a little bit more better awareness over the next couple of games, because that's a play right there where they could have had an opportunity to get maybe 2, maybe draw an and 1. And we'll see what happens now. The Owls call a timeout. 7:36 to go. They're up 13.
The Owls take timeout with 7:36 to go. It becomes a media timeout. And we will head to break with Southern Connecticut leading Staten Island 58-45. 7:36 to go in the fourth quarter. And the Dolphins are within striking distance, trailing 58-45.
It's a little bit of a conversation going on right now on the other side, so might have to wait a couple of minutes.
I think there's a discrepancy over a foul tally between the book and the live stats, perhaps.
Oh.
So they're going to talk that over. And while they do that, let's take a look a bit deeper at the box score in this one, Nick. I mentioned that Southern Connecticut at one point in this quarter was shooting up over 46%. They're still at 43.5. 7 of 16 from downtown. And you said it during the pregame, this is a team that relies on the three-pointer. And once again, they've been efficient from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and it's a team that, if given the three, is going to attempt it. And if they make it, it's going to be really tough for any team to try to come back from any type of lead that they have in this game. And we've seen it a lot in this second half, especially in the third quarter. They were making a lot of three-pointers. Steinauer, Fox have been really efficient in this game, showing why they've been really big for this Owls team to start this season. And to the Dolphins' credit, they've kept this game still close. It's a 13-point deficit with 7:36 to go, so still time for CSI to get back in this game. But it's going to get to the point now where they're going to have to get a little bit more quicker on offense while trying to force some good defensive stance, because the Owls are going to try to take as much time as they possibly can over this next 7:30 and change.
Well, they've sorted out whatever the discrepancy was, and we'll see
Or have
if
they?
maybe
Okay.
we get an announcement.
I will say
there were a lot of fouls.
Yeah. Not as much as the stack assumption game we had during Tournament Heroes.
That will be tough to top.
I was watching that last night, and I had to remind myself how many fouls were tallied in that first half. There were a lot.
Now, the question is, did you watch the on-demand version via Flow or the definitive version on CSI Sportsnet?
Flow.
Yeah, so you watched it without the edits. So after 24 hours, there is a version of the game that runs on CSI Sportsnet. Steinauer gets the hook to go. But there is a version that airs on CSI Sportsnet which trims out the dead air because we run Flow's ads. So that gets trimmed out. The halftime break gets shortened, and any issues that we had with the broadcast get fixed. Feed inside, and Francis Torres was able to keep it in. 8 to shoot now. Barnes for Rose. 4 on the shot clock. And Kyra draws another foul. Now, we are aware, for those who have been looking for our games on demand via Flow College, that our games have not been archiving. I've been in contact with our rep for the conference, and I've been told the issue is a change in the system that occurred, I think now 2 or 3 weeks ago. They're still working on it. For example, our men's game against the Delphi did archive correctly. Our last women's game against Bentley did not archive. And I don't believe it has to this point. So not much Nick and I can do. What I can say is that after 24 hours, you can watch the game over on our CSI Sportsnet YouTube channel. After 24 hours, we are allowed to share those games on our platform. Outside of that, better tune in live. At least for the near future. Pass tipped by Francis Torres, and that's an unfortunate break for the Dolphins as Raina Steinauer continues her strong second half.
Yeah, it's felt like she hasn't missed a shot in the second half.
We don't have a breakdown by half, but speaking of players who hardly missed.
My goodness.
Shania Edmonds somehow got that to go high off glass. Dolphins won't go away. The deficit is 14, but they need some stops. Lee in the corner. 10 to shoot now. Fox off the crossover. Feeds Williams. Can't finish. And was fouled from behind. Barnes did not like the call.
Well, I could see why. It was a little bit of a wait whistle after the ball was
You're right,
loose.
Nick, it was a wait.
Yeah,
a wait and whistle.
Yeah. Combine the two words right there. But
I think it was the right call.
Yeah.
I think it was the right call.
But going back to earlier with the CSI YouTube page, I believe you're going to be on the call at UDC, if I'm not mistaken, on the YouTube page coming up?
Likely.
Likely.
So that game, as I've mentioned more than once already for those who have listened to each game, is on the same day as John Cena's final match in Washington, D.C., which I'm attending. So if they get started on time at 1 p.m., I should be able to make it until they're done. And then immediately I have to head over to Capital One Center. 16-point game under 6 minutes to go. This is Barnes. For Edmonds. Out to Francis Torres, left open. Off the back rim and rebounded by Steinauer. Outside of Edmonds, those mid-range jumpers just haven't fallen for the Dolphins in this game.
You can tell they're definitely missing the presence of Kane in this game.
It changes things at both ends of the floor, and I think you feel her absence both at the offensive end and on the defensive side, but also on the glass as Edmonds commits the foul.
Especially when facing Williams, who they've gone to a couple times in this game inside of the paint, and she's taking advantage of some mismatches.
Dolphins have won the rebounding battle in this game by 5. And in terms of second chance points, they have outscored the Owls 15-4. But Nick, it's the three-point shooting, 7 of 16 against 3 of 12, and Dolphins have improved from the line. They're now 11 of 18, but the Owls at 13 of 15 have had a slight edge there as well.
Checking in for the Dolphins, number 22, Dorothy Lisi.
I think the other good thing is the Dolphins' turnover numbers haven't been as bad here in the second half, but still a little bit of an issue for this program that they need to fix over the next couple weeks.
Well, they had 15 at halftime. They have just 4 in the second half. Yeah. And you mentioned the point that Coach Sarcone made. She wanted to keep it under 15 for the game. And whatever the message was at halftime seems to have resonated. They've cleaned that up as that shot's too strong. Fox kicks out. Martin for 3. Knocks it down.
Nice shot right there by Martin. Another open 3 in this game for the Owls, and they've been making a lot of those here in this second half.
Edmonds off the front rim on that 3. Another offensive board for the Dolphins as Barnes will pull up and knock it down.
Number 1, Stitchy Barnes.
Second chance points. Barnes makes the 2, and you mentioned it, Joe. The Dolphins are getting good looks. They've been making a good amount of shots in this game. It's just the three-point ball has really been the difference maker.
That shot no good by Lee. And if you were looking for another Dolphin to step up in this game, I think Barnes would have been a good candidate. She has 8 points, 4 of 9 from the field, as Edmonds rattles in another. But I think you could argue that Barnes could have been even more aggressive in this game.
Yeah, we've seen him take a couple of three-pointer shots in this game, but definitely could make that case.
Rose has gotten to the line 12 times, 7 of 12, but just 1 of 9 from the floor as Owls knocked down another.
She cannot miss.
Raina Steinauer in the second half has been fantastic. She was good in the first half, but has stepped it up to another level here in the second half.
I would love to get a breakdown of each half, because I really don't think she's missed a shot in the second half.
Well, what I can tell you is
timeout Owls.
The Owls in the second half are 5 of 7 from downtown.
Wow.
And in the fourth quarter, they've outscored the Dolphins 14-10 to extend their lead to 20 points. 3:13 to go. Our score, Southern Connecticut 72 and Staten Island 52. Final 3:13 from the tank. The Dolphins trail by 20. And after a late run in the first half by Southern Connecticut, Dolphins never really got close again.
Yeah. It's just been great shooting in this half by Southern Connecticut, and you see it right there, another 2. It's been a nice showing from Fox in this game as well.
Strong shooting continues with that bank shot by Hope Fox. She has 18, 5 of 8 from the field, 2 of 3 from downtown, 6 of 6 from the line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And when you look at the box score in this one, as that shot won't go for Barnes, a lot of the Owls have been stat sheet stuffers in this game.
Yeah. As I mentioned, this is a team that put up 104 points earlier in the season against Georgian Court. We've seen it on the men's side and the women's side. We rarely see a team put up 100 points on the collegiate level. To do that in a 4-quarter, 10-minute quarter game, that's unheard of. And it shows you how good this team can shoot.
Been efficient today, 48% from the field, 50% from downtown, and it doesn't matter how well you play if you're the Dolphins. It's going to be tough to overcome that every time.
Yeah.
Fox inside, and again, the size advantage too much.
Yeah, Singer played it pretty well in that play. It was just, as you mentioned, the size was the biggest factor on that one.
She got her hands on the ball, and Steinauer just took it away from her.
Yeah. Can't really do much right there if you're Singer.
Phelan, air ball. Rose there, keeps it in. Singer, step back jumper, is off to the left and taken by Steinauer.
And I think if you're the Dolphins, I think the good thing in this one, Joe, is that we saw that they're being a little bit more aggressive on the offensive side. They were making a lot of good shots in this game. Problem is, it's just they need to find out a way to make those outside shots, which has been a big problem. And as you talked about earlier with Nicole Starcone, they've got to figure out a way to not have those early turnover issue numbers that they've had over the past 5 games, 15 in the first half. A lot better here in the second half, but they've got to fix that before conference play starts.
Well, you're going to look at the final score when this game is over and say 20-plus point loss, in all likelihood at this point. That's not a good result. That being said, I don't think this loss was as bad as the final score might indicate. I think if you're the Dolphins, that run you surrendered late in the first half completely changed this game.
You could say the same thing about the previous game as well against Bentley. It felt like that exact same way.
Well, it was the start against Bentley.
Right. They got to within, I believe, 10 at one point in that game, but it just fell away in the second half.
It was 20-2 in the first quarter of that game, and the final margin of defeat was
23.
It was 23?
Yeah, I think it was 23.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I thought it was 16. I know at one point we mentioned that they trailed by 16.
Yeah, and it kept hovering to that 16 mark, and they just never could get it any closer. I think the closest they got to was either 10 or 12 points, but that was about it.
You have to give the Owls a lot of credit, too, for how well they shot it in this game. Any hopes the Dolphins had of erasing a double-digit deficit was completely erased by how well Southern Connecticut shot the ball in this game.
You felt the tide starting to turn at that second quarter mark where it was back and forth up until about maybe the 4-minute mark. That's when the Owls started making those outside shots and, got it to a 13-point game before halftime.
Under a minute from the tank. The lead for Southern Connecticut, 24 points.
Make it right 26. There by Cotton. That was an impressive move right there. A little bit of a Euro move right there.
Cotton with 13, now 5 of 11 from the field. 1 of 4 Owls in double figures, and with that miss, Southern Connecticut can dribble out the remaining seconds.
Another impressive showing by this Owls team offensively, as they'll go down to 4-2 on the year, and the Dolphins still, keep your heads up in this game. They fought until the very end. The numbers were there offensively. Got to figure out a way, though, Joe, to get those turnover numbers down and can really afford to fix the free throw shooting going in to conference play in their next game.
Speaking of a looming conference matchup, it is a big one. A rematch of last year's ECC Championship semifinal round. Mercy University visits the Tank on Wednesday night, 5:30 p.m. tip-off between the Dolphins and Mavericks. Nick, you and I will be there. I will be fresh off the plane from Logan Airport in Boston. I begin my trip up the East Coast immediately following our sign-off today. And before we return on Wednesday, final thoughts ahead of a big conference matchup. If you're the Dolphins, you really had to be hoping that you'd figure things out in today's game ahead of that meeting with Mercy.
Yeah, and I think something they also would like to figure out is maybe that they could get Kane back in that matchup, because she certainly could have played a big factor in today's game, of course, with the size disadvantage against Williams inside of the paint. So getting Kane back will be a big plus. We'll see if she is back for that conference opener. But other than that, we see that the Dolphins had some open looks in this game. The shots are there for them, Joe. It's all going to come down to when will they start falling for them. We'll see if they can get it going in their next matchup. And on the defensive side, there were some good flashes in this game, but the Owls just really tough to defend at the three-point line. So we'll see if the Dolphins can bounce back in their next matchup.
And that will wrap things up for us here at the Tank. Joe Foreman on the call alongside Nicholas Pavona for CSI Sportsnet. As always, streaming exclusively on Flow College. Our final score, the Owls 78 and the Dolphins 52. Our next broadcast on Wednesday night as Mercy University visits the Tank for a 5:30 p.m. tip-off. That is the women's basketball conference opener. Be sure to join us back here on Sportsnet come Wednesday night, and everyone enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend.